guys, it's Tanya with Scraptastic Creations. Today I'm going to create a one-page layout, and I'm not using a specific paper packet. I'm actually going to create my own background, and I got my inspiration out of the Close to My Heart core catalog. They have the Distress Oxides in here, and it's this right here is my inspiration. Those 6 colors in that order. I have them laid out just like that. So I'm going to scrapbook a picture of my daughter Emily, and this is her, and I just thought these color palette would work perfect for this photo. And this was a couple years ago, and she was on her way to work, and she just got in the car and took a photo, and I just thought that this would be a perfect photo to put in her scrapbook. So I am going to use some blending brushes when I do this, and I'm just using regular blending brushes. They're nothing specific. Although I absolutely love the Close to My Heart blending brushes. These are my favorite blending brushes. I don't want to mix up my Close to My Heart inks with my Distress Oxide inks. Oxide inks are actually a hybrid. They're dye and pigment, and for this reason, they're more opaque and have a slower drying time. And I just don't want to mess it up. So it's just easier for me to leave my Close to My Heart brushes for my Close to My Heart inks, even though these work perfect for Distress Oxides. And you can clean them if you need to in between inks. It's just easier for me to have separate brushes for my different inks. Just a personal preference. So I'm going to get started, and I'm probably going to start with, I'm going to start in the middle, and I'm going to probably start with this Villainous Potion and work my way down this way and then my way back up. So sounds weird, I know, but that's what I'm going to do. So I'm going to bring in a piece of White Daisy cardstock, and then I'm going to get out my Villainous Potion. And I'm going to start with that ink. And when I ink my brush up, I am going to dab off on my all-purpose mat. That way there, I don't have any harsh lines. So I'm going to kind of start a little bit sort of in the middle here. And just give it a good blending. And I'm going to keep blending until I get the color and consistency that I want. And I will probably use a little bit of a masking tape, because I am a messy scrapbooker. And I don't want to get my fingerprints while I'm holding my paper. I don't want to get my fingerprints on my layout. So I'm just kind of working this in and blending it in really well. When I create this, when I move to my next color, I'm going to put the next color down and then really blend in between. So it'll kind of give it it'll give it a third color. So that's a really pretty effect, and I'm going to do that. And I'm probably not going to make you watch me blend all of these colors. I'll put it in slow motion so you can kind of see what I'm doing and still be able to watch without having to just sit there, you know, and watch me for 20 minutes blending all these colors in. So I'm going to move to my next color. And I'm going to move to the Peacock Feathers. And I am going to use a different brush. And I could clean that off, but it's just easier to use a different brush. See what I did? Now, had I put my fingers on my piece of paper to hold it, I would have had fingerprints on there. And how do I know this? Because I've done it. So anyways, I'm just trying to prevent you from doing that and then having to start over. Or actually, you wouldn't have to start over. You could simply just find a way to cover that up. So I love it. I think it's well blended, and I like the colors that are in it. I think it looks great. I did just get a little water on there, but that's okay. let me show you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna bring in this stencil card front pack 1, and I'm gonna bring in the words. This says like sunshine, joy, together, good, kind, love, happy, blissful. So I'm gonna bring this in. I'm thinking these colors are working great for my photo. So I'm gonna get my paper kind of taped down a little to help keep it from moving. And this is just a low tack tape. We have it in the catalog. So I'm gonna run this down this side. So I'm just gonna place this here. And I'm probably gonna put just a tiny bit of tape on that as well, just so I can kind of hold it down. And I'm going to bring in a baby wipe. Yes, a baby wipe. And I'm literally just gonna wipe this color off of here. I'm just wetting it with my baby wipe. You could do a spray bottle and use a rag, but I tried it and it does give it a different, it's a little bit different look than what I'm going for. So I'm just gonna use this baby wipe and wipe this up. And it's not gonna be like a perfect image. It's gonna kind of be like a water effect, which is exactly what I'm going for, what I want on the side, peeking out from my embellishments and from on the side of my photo. So let's keep doing this. Okay, so how pretty is that? Okay, it's about dry. It looks pretty good. And I got all these paper flowers here that I cut from the layered flowers. And then I also have some sprigs and leaves from the Sprigs and Leaves thin cuts. And I thought that those would be pretty, and I cut them in the, I cut them in purple, grape, and glacier and lagoon. And then I also cut them, I know I said I wasn't going to use a specific paper pack, but I did cut the piece that came in the card kit for the Life's a Hoot. And there was this really cool die that had these little like squiggly things. So I cut those out in plenty of colors that I could play with. And that is from this Life's a Hoot card making workshop. So it came with a couple of sheets of the paper and enough supplies to make 16 card kits. And this is one of the things that it came with. So I did have some of the paper left over that I just cut some of these purple shapes out of the layered flower because I thought they were so pretty. And I also had a couple of pieces left over that I might pull in. So I had these pieces left over from where I had made some cards. And these are left over from this card. And I kind of have an idea with that. And then these was a background I created with this card. And so I had a couple of those left over, and it's just white cardstock, and I literally created that. And it is in my on my YouTube channel. So I was thinking that I could use these to create a frame for this photo. Then I was thinking that I could go ahead and use these to create the frame for this photo. I thought this would be pretty cool to pull this in. And this is a metal die. I will leave that linked in the description as well. And all the items that I'm using, everything will be linked in the description. If you hit the more button underneath my title, it'll take you to all these links of all these products, and that does support me and help me. So I really appreciate your support. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and hit the like button. Thank you so much. So I was kind of thinking of maybe something like this, and we could pull in like these flowers and build a cluster here and a cluster here, or I can kind of cascade this all the way up. That's another thought. And then I was kind of thinking, well, maybe I want to pull in this darker color, so I have some sapphire cardstock, and I was thinking about cutting a border for that and maybe using that. And because I do like the way that looks, but I could also bring in both of them, or I could bring in both of these. So I'm kind of torn about what I'm gonna do, but I am gonna cut this and kind of see what I think of the border. And when I printed my photo, I did print the white edge around there, so that is part of my photo. So I'll be right back. So I'm thinking I really like this. I think this, I don't know, this just gives it something really unique and kind of frames it in a different way. And so I kind of like this matted behind there like that. I want to put some spray in there. So I'm thinking about, I'm going to add the Dina Wakley, the gloss spray, the white and the turquoise. So I'm going to do it two different ways. I want to spray, and then I'm going to do where I take the lid off and I put some droplets on there. So I'm going to bring in my, my splat box real quick. So you want to give it a good shake and make sure you hear that ball rolling around in there and mixing that up. Oh, I love it. That is so pretty. So I'm going to do the other with the turquoise. Oh, it's so pretty. I love that. So I'm thinking that maybe add a little bit more of that. So maybe I don't need to, I'm going to add a little bit more white, but maybe I don't need to do the other, to take the lid off, because that, probably need to go clean my lid out, huh? Probably put a little bit of warm water in that. Okay, that's okay, because you won't see that in the middle. Okay, perfect. So I think I'm going to go ahead and glue my frame, my mat to my photo, and kind of glue these down behind there and get that tacked down, and then we'll start working the flowers in. Okay, so I did get a little bit of splatter right there. No idea how I did that. And then when I put my glue down, I got a little bit of the distress here. So it's no big deal, because I think we can cover it with flowers. So I want to start building my flower cluster, and I was thinking about going this way, but I decided not. I decided I'm going to kind of do like an L shape kind of here, and then a cluster up here, so you got your visual triangle. And then it will kind of enclose this photo and make it our main focal point. So let's go ahead and start building it. I did get some of those glued together, some of those flowers, but I also want to show you, I want to do a little bit of sanding. So I left my all-purpose mat out for that. I'm going to do a little sanding, and then I'll move it and bring in my Versamat. So just got a sanding block, and the reason why I decided to sand this is it brings a little bit of the white in, and I want to draw that in. Because it's already kind of dark and there's a lot of colors, and I just thought it gave it a really pretty look to it when you put these together. They're very vibrant, they're beautiful, but I wanted to tone that down just a little because there's a lot going on in the background. So I'm gonna do that, and then I'll put those together. And then I'm even thinking about bringing in a little bit of glitter paper. I'm thinking about bringing in some periwinkle. I thought periwinkle glitter paper would really be stunning on this layout. So I'm thinking about maybe in the middle of these flowers. I do have these cut that we can play with if not, and we can see what we can come up with. There's a bunch of little ones around here too. Yeah, here they are. So we can play with those too and see what we think. So then I literally just use my my liquid glue and put that together. And all you do is just match it up. That's not a match. You gotta keep finding where it goes, huh? Okay, so I matched that up and then kind of just pinched it together, gave it a squeeze, and then I'm gonna bend up my petals. I always tell my ladies that come to my classes, I teach a class every month in my house, and I always tell them that we got to give them life. So bending them up, I kind of call it giving them life. And I like to do this with a piercing tool. And so I usually like just kind of like really give it a roll with that. And I'm pushing in the middle when I do that. And then I'll use my fingers afterwards and kind of just mold that how I want it. And it's real simple. Okay, so I think I sort of like the placement of that, and I'm gonna have to get some of them glued down so I can figure out how to tuck the others in just a little bit more neatly so you can see them. And I think I was trying to mess with these, and I don't know, I think they got washed. I mean, I like the little pop of bringing in the sapphire, but I feel like it got lost in the background. And I like how these pops of white softened that and really made the flowers stand out a little more. And I know there's a lot of flowers, but this is our main embellishment. So this is going to look really pretty when it's done. So I think I'm going to keep these, and I think I might cut another one or two. I'll probably do 2 more so I can have an odd number. I like to do things in odd numbers. So let me get some of these main flowers glued down, and then we'll go from there. I'm going to bring the sapphire in the title, and I had this from my last project. I had done an adoption, one of my girls, and that's on my YouTube channel as well. It's a double page layout, and this was one of the titles I was contemplating on using, and I like it. And this is my daughter, and of course I love my daughter, so this would be perfect, but it blends in. So I was just thinking, like, what can I do? So I then cut it in that glitter paper, and I'm like, oh, that's pretty, but too much glitter. So I cut it in white, and I thought, oh, I like that, but you know, it's just not like jumping out to me. So then I thought, well, what if I put this on top of it and glue it, but just have it barely showing? And I like that a lot better. I think that pops off, but it just definitely needs something in the background, because you need to be able to see it, and it needs some kind of like resting, kind of little like resting place. So I'm thinking that I cut a bunch of these like banners and tags, and I did that using the all-purpose tags. So I cut a couple of these, and then I also cut the this is just the tags and tabs. It comes with a couple tags and a couple of tabs. I use it quite often, so I cut a couple of those as well, thinking that if I have the white, I need to like draw it in somehow. So I was thinking maybe a couple tags here behind the photos, and we could just use our little spatula. If you don't have this, oh, you need to have this. It's like a lifesaver. I love this. So you can just kind of stick it in and kind of pry the glue and then, you know, tuck under, you know, if you put too much glue. I tried to only add it in the center, and at the end I'll go back and I'll put it on and push down the pieces that I want to have completely glued down. So I just thought I would play with these. This is the pattern paper, and I have a couple of Glacier, the light and the dark side, a couple different ones. And, you know, this one I only cut half of it because I'm going to tuck it in like behind if I use it. So I was thinking of putting in something here and something here and figure out what I'm going to do with these. And it definitely needs some little sparklies. I know that this is sparkly enough, but I need a little more, like a little more gems or sparkles. So that's what I want to do. And if I use these, I was thinking that I should definitely put a little bit of you know, spray on there like we did here, because that will just add that in and just keep the same look that we're going with. So I thought that would be fun. So yeah, so that's where we're at. So I brought my splat box back in, and I'm going to bring those gloss sprays, the turquoise and the white, back in. I know you're like, it's white and it's white, but just stay tuned. So I'm going to give that a couple sprays. And I know you're thinking, why did you spray the white on the white? Listen, you definitely can see it. I'm not sure if the camera picks it up, but you can see it in person. And it's just going to give it a little bit of texture. So I definitely wanted to spray it with the white. Actually, I think I'm going to spray it a little more with the white. Awesome. Okay. So I got those sprayed. I think they look pretty good. I'm not sure if you can pick all that up on there. So I did also, I just pull out this outdoor denim and white twine that I had in my stash. It matched the sapphire pretty good. And I'm going to put these back where I had them. And like this, and I'm thinking that so this brought the sapphire here and up here as well, so just kind of tied it in, and then we're going to bring it also here in the title. And I am going to have the title go right onto my photo and right over this tag. I think that looks super cute like that. And then I was playing with these and trying to figure out how to bring in a little bit more white. I guess I decided that I don't think, just by kind of laying these, I cut these up, but just kind of laying these randomly, I just decided that it's too much. So I was thinking that I would just maybe add 2 pieces in each. And I'm thinking that I'm going to, I was thinking maybe just adding in, like I flipped the one over and just kind of making like a little V like that. I kind of like that. And then I will do the same over here. And, let's put this in over here. So then it's kind of, it's there, but it's subtle. So then you've got the white daisy, and then I've got it up here as well. So I've tied in all the colors here and here. I like that. I think that's good. I think I'm going to commit to that. So I'm going to go ahead and glue the pieces that I kind of popped up with my tool and get those glued down, and then we'll move on from there. So I do like that, and I was real careful when I put my glue on this. I kind of spread it around with my finger because I didn't want anything coming out, and I'm always very light-handed with the glue. Less is more. You don't want your pages like rippling or anything like that. So I'm always real careful to go very thin. But I spread that out and I was real careful because once you put it on, you can't slide it around. So once I committed, I was done. So, and I think that looks great. So I'm going to bring in some silver glitter gems, and then I have some bitty sparkles. I don't have a lot left, but I have some left. So I want to bring those in, and I'm going to use my Pearson tool to pick them up and place them where I want them. I'm thinking that looks really pretty. I'm hoping that you can see all the shimmer and all the spray and the details of that. And the stenciling behind there. And just the splatter that we did. I just think that looks so pretty. I'm very happy with how that looks. So let me show you. I did a couple of samples also. I'm not samples, but cards also with this paper. So these are some other cards I did with these flowers and these papers. So they're super pretty to work with. I love these colors. And if you haven't subscribe to my channel. I really appreciate it. And these are the supplies that I brought in. I did end up using the Life's a Hoot card making kit, and it came with the stamp set and coordinating thin cuts. And I didn't end up using the all-purpose tags. I did use the tags and tabs and the stencils right there, stencil card front one, and the sprigs and leaves, and then the layered flowers. And then I brought in the Distress Oxides, and I went ahead and used the sprays, those Dina Wakley sprays, and some sparkles and some silver glitter gems. And I'm going to leave all the supplies linked in the description, and clicking on those links and purchasing any of these supplies that you like that I used helps support me, and I really appreciate you clicking on those links to purchase the supplies. I work really hard trying to create these things for you guys, and I hope they're an inspiration to you. Thank you so much. Till next time.